Well, like, there's not much to do, and said this was like a cool idea, and I thought it'd be like a nice alternative to going to the movie theater. So yeah.
I think a service that is much needed right now during this COVID-19 crisis is reopening drive-in movie theaters across the country. This service could help people mentally escape the current stress and anxiety of the unknown for just a few hours, as movies are made to do. Additionally, this would give people the ability to get outside of their homes and be in a new environment without endangering themselves or others, and still maintaining social distancing rules.
Brick and mortar movie theaters are all closed, so the drive-in is the perfect place for you to self-isolate and enjoy the show. The neon lights, cars lining up at sunset in front of giant screens, the old school drive-in theater, now the only game in town.
Rock and roll.
One of tonight's movies, Back to the Future, a place we all wish we could go.
Trying to be as normal as we can while also being, mindful of our safety.
Chip Sawyer runs the Silver Moon Theater in Lakeland. This week, he says business is booming.
People that may not have thought about the drive-in for a long time are kind of thinking about us. So it's really cool to see some new people here.
We feel okay here.
Dan Heskett drove nearly 40 miles with his family to see the movie. They set up in lawn chairs in front of their cars for some fresh air.
Movies are just an important family activity for us.
Under a clear Florida sky, 2 movies playing, you'd never know the world is in crisis, a much-needed break from reality.
The drive-in experience allows people to watch a movie projected on a screen from the safety of their vehicles. In some parts of the country, it's one of the few public gatherings that's not prohibited during the coronavirus pandemic that's killed nearly 56,000 people in the U.S. Coronavirus has wreaked havoc on the movie theater industry, with over 40,000 screens closing in the U.S. alone. Blockbuster releases getting pushed back, along with theaters closing, has put the box office in debt by over $1 billion. Implementing countless drive-in theaters across the country could be a benefit for all people affected by the virus, which is everyone. This can be enjoyed by civilians and kids who are forced to stay home, and even essential workers or healthcare professionals on their days off. Drive-ins could provide a unique opportunity to serve as an entertainment alternative that gets you out of the house and allows for some social interaction while still keeping people safe.
Everybody's still in their pajamas or bringing their sleeping bags, and it's just fun. It's a night out, and especially during the pandemic that we're faced with right now, it's a safer way to get out and enjoy your family and watch a great movie. This week, everything has just almost been operating hour by hour. Things are changing rapidly. We're staying in close contact with local government and our officials just to see what's changing and what's expected, and trying to adapt on the fly. But we'll do everything in our power to see if we can find a safe way for us to operate.
As movie theaters shut down during the pandemic, people sheltering in place are already turning to drive-ins for much-needed entertainment. Back in March, the New York Times documented a resurgence of drive-in theater activity in states across the U.S. Movie theater chains such as AMC or IMAX could partner with local drive-ins and businesses to provide greater funds for a more mass-produced and better quality experience. The price of this service would be at a discounted rate compared to the typical movie-going experience. Tickets could be $5 to $10 for kids and $10 to $15 for adults, but of course the pricing could vary depending on the competition. Setting up new national locations could also be pretty easy, making this service available to all customers. As I mentioned, companies could partner with local drive-ins, but they could also work with closed businesses such as restaurants or even amusement parks to set up further. This would also ensure that numerous businesses are benefiting financially, including theaters and struggling local businesses. Drive-ins are currently promoted online and should continue to be. Websites would function like typical movie theaters by advertising various times each day for new films. But what would be important to emphasize is to require everyone to sign up beforehand. That way workers can put a limit on the number of cars and people that attend. Once you arrive, you could flash the tickets on your phone from your window to get in. Drive-ins should also show recently released movies, and eventually, if they prove to be profitable enough, maybe they could partner with big studios like Universal or Paramount in order to premiere new films instead of them waiting for an eventual release in theaters. And the idea of finding safety from sickness at a drive-in is nothing new. In the 1950s, when outbreaks of polio became severe, some drive-ins advertised their venues as the perfect place to be flu and polio protected. Today, there are about 305 theaters in the United States, according to United Drive-In Theater Owner Association. Nearly every state has a drive-in theater except Alaska, Delaware, Hawaii, Louisiana, and North Dakota. At least 8% of drive-in theaters have remained open despite restrictions on non-essential services. For example, states such as Florida, Idaho, Omaha, Utah, Georgia, and California are already allowing drive-ins to stay open amidst shutdowns and stay-at-home orders. There are strict rules, however. Everyone must stay in their car at all times except to use the bathroom. Similarly, many theaters have started having people order concessions by their phone. Servers wearing latex gloves then deliver them to the car so crowds don't congregate in concession areas. Even in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has said he's considering opening drive-in movie theaters and making an exception to the state mandate that non-essential businesses must be closed. Similarly, a few restaurants lacking customers and looking for new ways to bring in business put up massive inflatable screens and began turning their parking lots into drive-in movie theaters. With theaters around the world closed or empty because of the ongoing pandemic, drive-in theaters appear to be having a momentary comeback globally as well. Cities in Germany and South Korea have both opened drive-in theaters for its citizens, and they've proven to be very successful. Movies have the power to help us escape for a few hours from the turmoil and chaos of everyday life. Now more than ever, people are relying heavily on entertainment in any form, not just to fill their day, but to ease their minds. This is the perfect time to open up drive-in movie theaters to give people a little sense of normalcy with the perfect combination of nostalgia, movies, and food. Most importantly, this activity can still adhere to social distancing regulations and keep people safe and healthy.